Since '89, I've been working on trying to capture the seasonal moods of the Lakota Indians. And they have a name for the full moon. That's how they kept track of time.
Rapid City photographer Bill Groth has more professional experience than, well, probably anybody.
Well, I bought my first camera when I was 10, and I developed my own pictures when I was 10, and I went to work as an apprentice when I was 12.
One great thing about being around so long is that you've seen a lot of things that most other people have only read about, like the construction of Mount Rushmore.
I've done Rushmore for 80 years plus, and I still enjoy going there. I take pictures once in a while. I've covered a lot of the events. I've photographed several of the presidents there, the two Bushes and Eisenhower, and was present in pictures when Franklin Roosevelt was here and Bill shot the pictures. So I've been involved with Rushmore most of my life.
Groth's photography skills were put to use in Europe during World War II. He worked as a photo reconnaissance technician, and there was plenty of work after the war.
I did most of the commercial work for the businesses in the town. I shot over 1,200 weddings in 12 years after the war.
One set of photographs brought lasting national and international recognition. Bill Groth shot this historic photo in 1948 at the last reunion of the last remaining survivors of the Battle of the Little Bighorn, also known as the Battle of the Greasy Grass. Some of the old warriors already knew Groth because he'd been taking pictures of them separately for years.
They used to call me the Kid because I was on their trail. They were very congenial, very wonderful faces. So that's what my interest was in, trying to record these faces.
In a shot of the group sitting, only 8 of the warriors are present. Nicholas Black Elk chose not to be a part of the photo, but not because he didn't want his picture taken. He just wasn't nearby and didn't want to cause anybody any trouble.
He was blind at that time, and he didn't want to leave his tent and be helped down that hill. He was very proud, but I have pictures of him separately in front of his tent, both seated and standing.
Later that day, the group traveled to the Sylvan Lake Hotel, where some in the reunion party were staying. Using what light was left in the late September afternoon, Groth shot studio-style portraits of each of the old warriors as they sat on an apple crate that he'd pulled from the hotel kitchen.
None of these had any extraneous lighting. They were all natural light. I just had them look up to the sky and pose them so their headdresses didn't blend in with the trees.
He took exactly one picture for each portrait using 5x7-inch film sheets in a box camera equipped with a high-quality lens.
Except the very last one was a time exposure because it was getting dark.
Groth had only one remaining sheet of film for his final shot, a portrait of Iron Hail, also known as Dewey Beard. It was now or never, and here's where photographic expertise comes into play. Groth inserted a device into the box camera that covered half of that single sheet of 5x7 film.
And I shot 2 3.5 by 5-inch exposures on the same sheet of film.
In a split second, light particles enter a box. A few chemical reactions later, the image of someone who witnessed and participated in one of the great cultural transitions in world history is set for all time.
Most people ask me right away, oh, what did they tell you about the war? I said I would never insult them by asking them. They're not looking for any visitation about war. The war's over for 72 years. They were trying to assimilate into our culture as best they could.
Groth's pictures have appeared in Time magazine and others. He believes in high quality and won't do anything halfway or second rate. That's earned him respect from customers and other photographers.
His quality is, well, I don't think anybody else does what he does anymore. I mean, they do digital, they do ink printings, but they don't do chemistry printings anymore.
I have two.
Not to my knowledge, anyway, and it does make a difference.
Groth is no fan of digital photography, at least not for himself.
That's the way I grew up, and that's the way I still work.
Bill Groth worries that digital images can't last very long, and he worries that people will forget the history they were trying to preserve.
His point is, which I think is viable, is that you're going to lose history. Look around you at the photos of the survivors of the Battle of Little Bighorn. You know, they wouldn't be here without film.
Bill Groth's advice to up-and-coming photographers: know your mechanics and especially your optics, and respect your subject.
Is it really important? Is it really a part of history, or is it just another pretty picture?